This is Human Essence, and in today's video, it's part 3 of the deep dive of This Is Our Story by Wendi Adelson. If you missed the first 2 parts, you can look at those first. So I'm going chapter by chapter and doing a deep dive. So we've been introduced to the 3 characters: Rosa, who's coming from Argentina, the 13-year-old young girl, with her friend Anna; Mila, who's coming from Eastern Europe; and Lili, who has moved to the Panhandle with her husband, Josh. So chapter 7 is about Rosa, and she has arrived in Miami and is, as usual, recording her experiences in her diary. And we learn that Senora Cuenca has transported the 2 children, Rosa and Anna, to Miami as visitors, and on their passports she's had them use her own last name. So they're not coming in with their legal names, they're coming in as Rosa Cuenca and Ana Cuenca. We also see that the girls have been asked to rehearse a story, and they come through to the States, and they say they're here to visit an aunt and to take care of a baby, and they're going to go to school with their cousin. Senora Cuenca's made it known to the girls that she's paid $4,000 to get them to America, and we see that the Rosa is very believing everything, so we're hearing it from her perspective. So basically we're hearing the manipulations that are happening, but the girl has no idea of what's going on. So they arrive in Miami, and they, having rehearsed their false statements, they come through, and they're there to be picked up by Senora Cuenca. So that's their arrival in the United States. The next chapter is chapter 8, and this is about Mila. So unlike Rosa, Mila is the 17-year-old teenager from Slovakia. We see that Rosa is being lied to. We see that Mila is lying. So she told her mother she has a job as an au pair lined up. She tells her boyfriend that she's going to America, and that she'll be back in 6 months. Actually, she's completely sick of him. She finds him very boring, and she never wants to see him again. So she's lying to both her mother and to her boyfriend. So that's going to leave her without anybody that she can talk to when she comes to America. She makes arrangements to fly to an agency in a place called Atlanta. In there, they will help her to find a place in a Chinese restaurant. So she needs to earn money for 2 months, and she's lying to her mother the whole time, and she knows that her mother will miss her. She feels a little selfish, realizing that her mother doesn't have much of a life, and outside of her dreams for Mila, there's nothing much for her mother. But then she concludes her mother had her chance to be young, and this is Mila's chance to be young, and that she has to take this opportunity. This is her time. And she finds out that the Atlanta agency will provide her with housing, and because she has no extra money, she has no time to explore any other part of the United States, which would interest her. So she has to go right away to the housing, but that will save her commuting. The housing is just above the Chinese restaurant, and she'll have to start working right away. So she has her home, she has a job, she has a flight, and everything's paid for. She leaves her boyfriend with no plans to see him again, and she tells her mother she's going to send her money, and one day she's going to bring her to New York. Now, chapter 9 is about Lili, and Lili is the attorney in South Florida who's just begun to work for the immigration and asylum, and she's sort of musing about how strange it is that there's so many people from so many places that she's coming into contact to, and how odd that is that she should find herself in this place, in this panhandle, and find it's, meeting people from so many places. And then she goes on to describe her home life and how they got there very quickly. So she was all by herself, nothing going on, and all of a sudden it was a whirlwind. She got married, they moved to the Panhandle, and she's now, it's a bit too much. She wants to have some time to herself, and so she doesn't want to participate in too much of Josh's very involved in activities to do for meetings for English professors and also, English teacher students. So he's really involved in that. She doesn't want to really join him from that. So she's, staying in the house a little bit, but the house is infested with squirrels in the walls and bugs, and they found it through Craigslist, and there's a lot of description of the landlady and the landlord and the people who live there. And it's that same kind of humor, like, asking the reader to relate and to kind of laugh with her at the predicament that she finds herself in.